make a baby booty. I'm trying to get on my other. Do I have it? I'm trying to get onto it on my page. Oh, okay, there I go. I thought it wasn't gonna pop up for a second. So we're gonna be making these baby booties today. I will not be on the camera like I was last time. So I'm just gonna, show y'all how to make these baby booties. I got had to cut off my TV to make sure it doesn't. Ain't nothing. I don't know why that's wrapped around there. Hey, Landon. How are you doing this evening? Let me get my gloves on. Uh-oh. Let me move this camera a little bit towards me. Move my coffee out of the way. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a crochet hook and we're gonna do a crochet chain cast on first, and I'm trying to find the tail end of this yarn. It's kind of weirdly in here. Let's see if I can get it out of that. That'll work. That's just gonna have to work. I hope you guys are having have had an awesome day. So what you want to do first is I have this is a 24 peg baby knit loom by KB, and I have my starter uh, marker right here, and then you want to put something for your 12 stitch. I have other stitch markers. I don't have enough, so I just put uh, another stitch marker right there. I'm trying to figure out why is my chat disconnected over here. Okay, I don't know why I disconnected, but anyway, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our slip knot right here, and I'm gonna grab my other phone just in case something is going on. Oh, I didn't need to put this on here. So, and not in, yeah, whatever. So we're gonna put it on here first, and then we're gonna take our loom. Thank you, Eloise. Okay, we're gonna wrap it around here, and we're gonna pull it through our slip knot. If I can get my slip knot to stop closing it up on me, so I might have to go in here and pull it back a loose some. Let me see if I can get it to go through. No, it pulled too tight. I'm gonna leave it loose. Try to hold it so it don't get tight. All right, let's try this again. And I'm gonna pull it slower so that it didn't close. Cause this yarn is polyester, so it slides against itself easier than acrylic yarn. So I had to get used to it when I started off. But after that, you can just pull it through. And this is called a chain cast on. And this just makes the stitches tighter in the beginning when you before you start your project. The only way to avoid loose stitches would be to start it on the try to start on the foot part first, then the top part. Uh-oh. I need to turn the loom a little bit in order to um, get it to go down through there. All right, so you're not going to do the last peg that way. You're going to hold your hook and you're going to bring that working yarn towards the inside of your loom, and you want to pull the hook some and place your last stitch on there. Take it off your hook and you won't need the hook anymore. And I just tightened the stitch back up. So after that, you're going to bring your working yarn to the front, and now we're going to do knit two, purl two. But instead of doing true knit stitch, because it works so faster for me if I do U stitch, so I'm going to do two U stitches and two purl stitches. Let me move these scissors. I don't know why I had them on the table. So we're going to do two U stitches and two purl stitches. And that's going to be the pattern all the way around the loom. See if I can nicely get this one off. I don't know why I did that. Sometimes it's difficult trying to hold it up in the air. So that's two U stitches. Let's do two purl stitches. Purl stitch. And I really like using polyester yarn because it works so much better with this pattern, because this pattern can be tight. The stitchings are tight for it, so acrylic yarn is harder to move through tight stitches. Purl stitch, purl stitch. My hands are a little shaky. This normal. Uh-oh, I didn't grab it tight enough because that's the reason why I came off. Okay. My bad, y'all. It really is just easier for me to relax it on the table. I try to hold it up so y'all can see it. And we're almost back to the beginning. And I know I've done it right if it ends up the last two stitches are purl stitches for that row. Thank you, Isabel. Okay, so that's one row. And now I have to do Nine more, and I need to do get my row counter. Let's see if I can get my row counter pulled up. If not, I'm gonna avoid this. Let's see. It should be in. Okay. Oh crap. Oh, okay, there it is. It's called my row counter. And I thought it was just row counter. So I was trying to. Okay, so that's one row. Uh oh. I got to get back in the groove. Hi, Ruby. How are you doing this evening? After this part, this is like one of the slowest parts for me because I'm having to do two different stitches. But once I move to like doing all U stitches, it works up a little bit faster. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm hoping to like make a baby set because I want to make a hat and like some baby mitts to go with it. But I don't think I should do the diaper cover like that. It had to be like a different yarn texture. Uh, 24. There's two rows. And you just have to do 10 rows of this to start. And I can show y'all different versions that I've done with it. I've used a mixture of acrylic and not acrylic. I mixed, yeah, I think it was acrylic and wool. This is a mixture of acrylic and wool. This was nice to work up, and this is all acrylic, and this was kind of tough to work up because the flexibility of the yarn itself. So out of all these, this is my favorite way of working it up. And then this one was next. And then it's acrylic. So, and then you kind of see how they turn out a little different too. Trying to I'm trying to remember where I was. Knit two, purl two, knit two, purl two, knit two, purl two, knit two, purl two. I was right. I was about to do knit two. The good thing about it is once you do a certain amount of rows, you can just look in the inside and figure out where you lost your spot at. With acrylic, it takes 3 rows to just to be able to look in the inside and figure out where you are. But with this yarn, since it's a little bit thinner, it takes about 5 rows to um, get to that point. That is three. The good thing about the pearl stitch, you don't have to pull it that tight, so I don't mind kind of, tugging it the way I am. You just want it to stay on the loom, so it don't need to be tight. Hey, Virginia. Hi, Lauren. Starting it was about to fall out of my hand. How are y'all doing this evening? Uh-oh. I almost dropped that stitch. Let me move. I got so many socks sitting in front of me. Like, why I'm doing all that? All right. Let's see. This looks like that's a knit. I can kind of tell. And if the yarn is really good, or like, um, or polyester or whatever, it works up a lot faster. Acrylic yarn takes me about 2 hours of sock. This wool mixed with acrylic took me about an hour and a half. And I think this one takes me about an hour and 15 minutes. I can't really remember. We're about to find out. Hey, Purple Crochet. I remember where I'm at. Okay, purple. That's why you had it in your hand like that. Oh, what is that? Okay. I had to remember that I put that as the stitch marker for this area, and I was trying to remember what stitch am I supposed to be doing. Oh, normally this is not how I hold the loom. I normally hold it this way, and it works. I can work it up a lot faster with it laying on the table. But I'm trying to make sure y'all can see it. And this is a purl stitch. And if you need to see the purl stitch up closer, just let me know. I know the U stitch is not really that difficult. You just pulling it through in between the pegs. And it's 5. Yay, we're halfway through the ankle part. Cause then I'll roll through it after that. Cause everything after this will be U stitch. Uh-oh. Except for kinda when I move to like the ankle area. I mean, not the ankle area, the heel area. I need to loosen that up some. All right, purl. There's the train. Uh-oh. I almost dropped it. All right, there's 6. Uh-oh. And this is a pattern by KB or Knitting Board. So you can find this on here on YouTube or their website, I would think, because they have free patterns on their website. Here's seven, three more to go. I'm looking towards the finish line for the ankle. Because after this, it doesn't really bother me. It's just I have to hold the loom a certain way because I like doing a rib stitch. Oh, all right, that's eight. Hi, Miriam. Um, ooh, number nine, almost done. I wanted to say that phrase going down Chicago line. All right, last row of the rib stitch. Yes. Then I'm gonna clear my my counter back down to 0 because I just work in it in sections. Because I know what, each section of stitches needs. So I just rather count by the section. That would not just do. I need a purple stitch. There's a lot of trains coming through tonight. Cause I say a lot because one just came through. I normally don't get them back to back. Ooh, 10. 10, 10, 10. I'm so excited. Let me pull it a little bit tighter. All right. So now everything is U stitch. Hey, Nane. So now we're going to go back down to 0 here. And we're going to do 5 rows of U stitch to do this, this, the rest of the ankle part. So we're just going to do U stitches. I need my stitches to go down some. See, that works up a lot faster. Uh-oh. And this is the stitch we'll be doing for the rest of the baby booty. Now, if I was doing acrylic yarn, this yarn would be tightening up really tight on the loom. But since I'm using this polyester yarn, it moves against itself easier. So that's one. Oh, and I forgot to show y'all what it looks like on the inside. And that's what it looks like on the outside. And this one is Oscar. The green one came from the Oscar Sesame Street collection, yarn collection. I gotta figure out what I did with Oscar because I shouldn't have lost Oscar. I've misplaced Oscar and don't know what I did with it. I got 2 skeins of Oscar though, and I got 2 skeins of Zoe. I've worked with Zoe before, and I've worked with Elmo. but I have to like put them on a beanie if I'm doing that. If I'm gonna use this part of it. Hi, Latifah. Did I count that? It didn't feel like I did. See, it's getting a little bit tighter because I'm doing all U stitch. Purl stitch kind of balances it out when you're doing the beginning, so it doesn't get too tight when you work with the purl stitch. But when you're doing all U stitch, it gets tighter. I actually have some loose pegs on this loom, but they come out and you can just push them back in because of the acrylic yarn. That's three. And we're working on the ankle part if you just came in. And there's a stitch on here that even gets, there's a even tighter stitch. And it's called, I think, a line stitch. It's like you put the yarn across here and you just keep knitting off instead of going in between the pegs, so it gets even tighter. But I've tried to do that one, but I'm not very interested in that one because I don't want to break a loom. Okay, that's four and one more for the ankle. Then we'll move to the heel. Okay, that is five. All right, so we've done the everything that works up for the ankle. So that's how it looks so far. So we've done this all the way down to here. So now we're gonna work on this area. So now what you wanna do is you wanna just crochet up to this point. So that's why I have these section off here. This is 12 pegs from here to here. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we're just going to use stitch down to this area and then we're going to start our German short rows. So just go down to that stitch marker. Okay, so we went down to that stitch marker. And now we're going to do what is called a wrap and turn. So you're going to take your working yarn and you're going to bring it up to the front and in the front of this 12th peg, and you're going to bring it over, and you're not going to knit off on here. You're going to knit off on the 11th peg, and you're going to work your U stitches back the other way to the first peg. Okay, made it down to the first peg, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go in front of the peg, bring it over in front of those two pegs, but we're not going to knit off on this one. We're going to knit off on the second peg, and we're going to go back the other way. Okay, and you're going to stop at the 11th peg, knit off, bring it to the front like we did the first time. Go in front of these two pegs, the 10th and the 11th peg. Go in behind, go in between the 8th and the 9th. I'll be having to remember because I'm going back and forth. All right, so you're going to knit off on the 10th peg and go back the other direction. And I might just stop saying the number so I don't confuse myself. And just say we're going to just go in between these two. All right, you're going to go to this one and not the first one. Bring it up like we've been doing. Go in front, bring it in front of those two pegs. The one you just knitted off and the next one you're going to. So knit it off. Now you should have two wraparounds on these two, and you got two wraparounds on these two. And so you're going to go back the other direction. Okay, stop right here where there's no wraparound. Bring it to the front. So now you got three wraparounds. Go back the other direction. And I'm going to show you what it looks like once I finish the first half of the German short rows. The second half of the German short rows is going to be spent trying to close up the holes that you made by doing those wraparounds. So now I'm going to stop at the third peg, go in the front, and knit off. So now you got three wraparounds down here, and you're going to go the other direction. Like earlier, I didn't knit off, don't knit off on these, bring it up. think I might need something to drink. So let me get something to drink real quick, y'all. I'm trying not to burn my tongue. Coffee still hot. I supposed to been left the lid thing open so that it can cool off some. All right, so we're on the fourth pig. Bring it to the front and knit off on the fifth one. One, two, three, four. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here, and this is the first half of the German short row. So you should have four wraparounds here. One. Thank you, Judy. Four wraparounds here. One, two, three, four. You should have just U stitches. Four U stitches. One, two. Oops. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Those are single U stitches, and then four wraparounds down here. So now this is what you should have going on in the middle of your loom. All right, so now you want to start taking care of knitting these off. So whenever you knit them off, you're gonna do two at a time. So we're gonna bring it down here. And normally what happens is I have a difficult time knitting off the wraparound. So I take half of the wraparound, I separate it, and I take half of the wraparound, knit it off, and then take the other half and knit it off. And then you're gonna go over to this wraparound, and it's gonna be looser now on this one since you just knitted that one off. So knit, nope, nope, let's not do it. Let's not do it that way because I think I just messed it up. All right, so what did I just do? That's why I normally just, that's why I don't do it that way. Either way, I think there's going to be a hole right there, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go ahead and knit that off, and we just going to pretend that didn't happen. So what's going to happen is I'm just going to bring it up to the front and just ignore it because I haven't quite figured out how to fix that when I messed it up. So I messed it up on one of these, and you can't really tell it was there. So I'm just going to leave it because I'm not going to go back and redo that. So when you knit this one off, you're gonna bring the yarn up and create a wraparound again. You gotta put the wraparound back on the to keep it at three, because you only want to lose one wraparound when you're doing it. Now the other end, I'm gonna do it right. I'm used to just picking one off at a time, because I usually that I only do it on live apparently. I only mess it up on live. So you got this one down here, separated. Come on, one at a time. Go over to the third one. And I'm just trying to loosen it up a little bit. Wrap it around. Okay. So like I said, you can't lose two of the wraparounds. You can only lose one. So you got to put the third one back on there. And this is you just taking care of the hole that you create with the wraparound. I don't know why that's so tight. Okay, back down here. And it's kind of loose. but I'm still gonna do what I said I was gonna do. Okay, now I just took care of the third one, and now I still have to do this one, and I gotta put it back on there as well. So I got two on there now. Wait, what did I just do? Let me make sure. Yeah, I should have two on there. All right, we're back down to this end. Wrap around one, wrap around two, put the second one back on. Okay, we made it down to this one. Knit off half, knit off the other half, and then knit off the 12th peg. Uh-oh. Put it back on. Y'all, I'm only going to do 2 hours because starting to realize I might not be able to do 3 hours of live anymore. But I will be back tomorrow. All right. So one half. Hi, Bree. The other half. And then the first peg. And what be tricking me is that it be so loose, but I don't want to chance it. All right, so we've done the first peg. Now we're gonna put it back on. Uh oh. Hi, Yoon. All right, so we've made it down to the 12th one. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna knit off over here, knit that off, knit that off. And now we're gonna go past the 12th peg to the 13th peg. And we're gonna knit it off, and we're gonna do a wraparound for that too. So we're gonna do a wraparound on the 13th peg and bring it to the 12th peg. So knit that off. And this is just us trying to cover up any holes that we've made by trying to do or doing the heel part. Okay, we made it back to the first one, and we're gonna knit off. Take half and half, one half for the wraparound, and the other half for the wraparound. And just like that end, we're gonna go to the outside of the heel, which is the 24th stitch, and we're gonna knit off, and we're gonna wrap it around like we did the other end. And we're just gonna knit off back to the other wraparound. And we're done doing wraparound. So when I make it to this one, we're just gonna knit it off, and then keep going. So we're done with German short rows. Now everything else is gonna be the foot part, and you just gotta do 15 rows for the fifth. I mean for the foot part. So it's 10 for the rear part, 5 for the ankle specific area, and then 15. 10, 5, 15. All right, we made it to that 24th stitch where we did the wraparound, and we're just gonna knit it off. And that's the end of German short rows. And so you should have something that looks like this. And so everything else now, I'm gonna start my counter over because all I'm doing is 15 more rows. That's gonna be the end of the baby booty once I do my 15 rows. So just do U stitches. Excuse me. Honestly, this is getting on my nerves, so I'm just gonna pull it all the way off for right now. So I'm tired of it flipping. As if I can get it off, apparently. Let me turn it a little bit. Alright. Because all I really need is the other one right now. I don't really need that one. But I'm using all my stitch markers, so I only got like 6 of them. And I probably only know where like 4 are. That's one row. This is not gonna take me that long. It's gonna take me about 15 more minutes. That's what I thought. So yeah, so using this polyester yarn takes me an hour and 15 minutes, and using the wool mix with acrylic takes me an hour and 30 minutes. And I think maybe the acrylic yarn may take me anywhere between an hour and 45 minutes to 2 hours to do the baby booty with the acrylic yarn. And then when I finish this, I'll start a new one. So some of you that didn't see me start the live can see me start one and do the rib stitch, and then I'll be done. I'm not sure. I'm mainly doing it. I'm holding it this way so you guys can see it. That's why I have it in my hand this way. It's normally when I'm not on live, I normally have it like flat down on the table working with it like this, but I'm just trying to make sure everybody can see the stitches, so that's why I have it held a certain way. But this is my preferred way of holding it. I'm only doing U stitch, so it's gonna work up the same speed, no matter which way I hold it. This is one of the quickest stitches. And then this yarn is thin, so yeah. Hi, Maria. I really don't honestly think it'll work up any faster than the way I'm holding it, because I already have my hand in the loom. Once I get to 5 rows of the foot part, I'll show you guys what it looks like so far. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. That's what it looks like on the inside. Hi, Samikia. How you doing? I forgot to announce. Well, I really got about 50 more minutes now. I like to do a hour mark countdown. Awesome. Me too. Me too. This is 24 peg KB Loom 3/8 gauge. Hi, Miss Stella. That's good. You're doing awesome. No problem, Rhonda. When I get to my 10th stitch, I'll let y'all have a peek. And you just cast the baby booties off like you would a hat. So you don't have to do any type of special cast off. You just do a gather bind off. It's only because it's the U stitch and the type of yarn that I'm working with. I'm working with polyester yarn. It works up really fast with the U stitch. If I was doing this one, so this one is the same yarn I'm working with. This one took me an hour and 15 minutes. This one took me like an hour and 30 minutes, and this one takes me like an hour 45 to 2 hours. And it just depends on the type of yarn I'm working with. This is acrylic. This is wool mixed with acrylic. All right, so that's five more, and that's what it looks like. And this what it looks like on the inside. And I just gotta do five more rows. Right, what I'm using right now, it sounds like you may be talking about the E stitch. The stitch I'm using right now is a tighter stitch. I'm using the U stitch, so it works faster than it. You don't have to do the wraparound. There's a lot of different stitches you can use on the loom. Oh, no problem at all. And it's 10. And it just it the U stitch looks like an E stitch, just really tight. There's an even tighter stitch that's called the line stitch, and you put it just across your loom and knit off like this. But I avoid that one because I'm not a master at that, and I don't want to break a loom. So you can get the stitch even tighter. It's 15. You can do 20 if you want to. I'm gonna show you what the thing about it too is when you do the U stitch, once you take it off the loom, the it kind of scrunches up and you have to stretch it. I stretch it out because um usually when I take off like acrylic yarn, this one is like, and I'll say it's like this width once you take it off, and so I pull it like this to stretch out the stitches because it's so tight. But I usually do about 20 on this one because it shrinks up so much, and then I have to tug it to stretch it out some. But on these two, I only did 15. Let me make sure. I think that was 13. Either way, if it's not, it's just one row. I'm not gonna be mad. I'm not gonna be mad at her. So the ankle part, the rear part is 10. The ankle part is 5, and the foot part is 15. I don't really know how many this is. I just know I do a certain amount of a certain amount of things to get it done. Oh, no problem at all. It's 14. Alrighty, that's it. That is 15. So what I do to take it off, I'm gonna go around the loom once and then go around it halfway, and that's where I'm gonna cut it at. And this leaves me enough to take it off with. And you're gonna start with your first peg, like you've been doing when when you're doing working on it. This is actually why I have a hard time making adult socks because I know I can work up a baby booty real quick. Yeah, I have a pinched nerve and arthritis, so it just takes me a little bit longer, a little bit shaky hands to take the stitches off sometimes. Because I've been also working on another project that requires tight stitches, so come on. it'll stop doing this once I've shrunken the yarn some. I think I know what I did, what I'm doing wrong. This is not how I normally take it off. Stop it. Let's just pick it up from this way. This is how I normally take it off. Okay, and that is it. And if you notice, let me see if it's any. It might not be. I might not have to worry about that. We'll see in a second. And you just pull it close like you would. Awesome, Samikia. So if y'all kind of see what I was talking about, kind of, not really with this yarn because it's the way it is. So what I do when I take mines off the loom, I give it a little tug, straighten it out a little bit, and then it's just, you know, it morphs into what it's supposed to. I don't really need to pull that part, but I pull down on this part to get a straighten out the stitches a little bit. And it may be a bad habit, but it has not failed me yet. So now I'm gonna go around here because if you notice, this didn't really close all the way. So you want to go around it maybe 2 or 3 more times, and it'll stay. Tug on it tight as you go around so that your hole will stay closed. It'll close up even tighter as you go. Oh, that's come off. Come on. Sometimes I gotta coach my fingers. I want that to go on like that. All right. Then you're gonna take it through because I pretty much got it the way I want it to. Turn it inside out. So I gotta be careful putting it back in here because it already is grabbed another stitch. All right, now I can pull it on. That's the inside of it. And so then I create my knot in here. wasn't a knot. That's the knot. All right, so after I do that, I go around in here a couple more times too. Okay, trying to see if I can went through the other side, and then take this one down one of these ribs stitches or um, pearl stitches per se. And I try to go down but through what looks like a braid to me. So this can be tricky too, because if you're not careful, you'll put it through um, the U stitch, and it'll show up through the front stitch. So I go down through here, and then I go back up through this. And then that's it. Cut that. Flex it a little bit. It went down some. I probably should have flexed it before I pulled. I mean, I cut it. And that's the first one. So that's one. And I'm going to show y'all how to start one since some of you guys came in a little later. Let's toss that in my scrap yarn bin. And I got 30 more minutes, y'all. So that's why I'm just going to show y'all how to start one. You want to have two. Oh, this, I wonder would this fit on here. Nope. Wishful thinking. I'm going to use this time. Which I really don't need it because I don't think I'm going to make it down that far. Two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Okay. You should have two of these or a rubber band. I've used rubber bands on here too. So what you want to do is I like to tighten up my stitch in the beginning. If you don't care to tighten up your stitch, you can just do an E-stitch cast on like you would a hat. So I'm gonna create my slip knot and I'm gonna put it on to my crochet hook and try to leave enough room for me to chain. I'm gonna put the tail end down through there, and I'm gonna go in between my starter peg and the second peg. I'll show you in just a second. I should have enough time to show you that. So to do the chain cast on, I'm gonna wrap it around the hook, bring it down between those first and second peg, turn your hook a little bit, and bring it through your slip knot, and then you're just gonna do it all the same way, except for when you get to the last one. So you're gonna wrap it around like that. I like doing this because it makes the stitch tighter in the beginning. And the only way to avoid um, a loose stitch would be for me to start this end on this end of my project instead of this end. But the way they had the project going, I don't know if I can do this, work this backwards or whatever. So I'm just gonna stick to what, you know, how they have the pattern written. Except for this part, they don't say anything about that was naughty. Let me use the other stitch marker so that doesn't happen again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me go. Let's just use that one. That one don't pop off like that. All right. And I need to wrap it back around my finger like I normally do. And after this, I just go ahead right into the pattern. I know some people say, just create, still do the E-stitch cast on. I really don't care. It's just one row. So I'm just going to go right into my pattern after this. Okay, so I made it to the last one. I'm going to move my crochet hook over. I'm going to bring my working yarn to the middle and behind, under the hook into the middle. I want to make sure it goes under my crochet hook too. And I'm going to tug it just a little bit and place it onto the last peg. And there it is. Okay, so now I'm starting the rib stitch row, what I did earlier. Now I'm gonna move all this stuff off of here because we've already talked about it. So to do, I've been showing y'all the U stitch, so I gotta do the U stitch first and move this stuff out the way. Uh-oh. Okay, the U stitch. All right, to do the purl stitch, you want to bring the yarn to the front of your loom, and you want the working yarn to go under the previous stitch. You want to go down your previous stitch with your hook, and you want to lay it flat on top of your working yarn. You're gonna turn your hook, and this works best with a KB hook. It's more annoying with any other hook. So I'm gonna strongly suggest, if you're working with looms, that you invest in a KB loom hook, which they sell on their website. And so these are the only hooks that I work with. I don't work with anything else because everything else is duller than a KB hook. So you're gonna turn your thumb and pointing finger, and you're gonna pull that loop up through the old loop that you already have on your loom. And once you pull it up, you're gonna take that loop off and replace it with the loop that you just made. Put it back on Uh-oh, it's the yarn. Put it back onto the loop. I mean, onto the peg, and then tug it slightly. You don't have to tug it hard because you just, what you really want it to do is you just want the loop to stay onto the peg. So I'm gonna go over again with my working yarn under that loop that's already on the peg. I'm gonna go down into that loop, lay my hook on top of that working yarn, turn turn it, and now you got um your hook into that loop. Pull it up some, take the old one off, put the new one on, and tug it a little bit. And I'm still doing a rib stitch, so I still got to do the U stitch real quick. Okay, again, bring it to the front to do your purl stitch. Have your purl stitch at the top. Go down on top, turn, pull it up, take it off, put it back on. Tug. Um, I gotta hold it a certain way. That's why I took that darn stitch marker off the first time because it kept going up. I'm gonna have to buy some more stitch markers because when you try to have like 50 projects going on, it'd be nice to have spare. And this is the rib stitch. By the way, the two of those stitches are the rib stitch. Oh, no problem. We made it back to the first one. Since I'm gonna be making another, cause I gotta make a pair. I'm not gonna make a pair on live, but I gotta make a pair, so I gotta keep up with the count. Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, that's good. Let me I'm gonna show y'all something that I'm working on. Well, y'all know, some of y'all already know what I'm working on, but I kind of want to do a few more rows on this before I go in the house. So I'm gonna set this aside because this is not like pressing to to get done. So I'm gonna put this here. And I want to work on this, but I'm not gonna be able to show it on camera because it's like even bigger. But I am doing, this is a combination of the pearl stitch and dog putting the loom in the yarn. This this is just one pearl stitch and one U stitch. So that's what I'm doing on here. So yeah, this is very tight stitching. And I'm just gonna do a few rows on it before I go in the house. So let's see. And I did this combination because I was earlier, I was telling y'all if you do all U stitch, it's gonna be very tight on the loom. So I did the combination of knit and pearl because the U stitch won't be so tight, and it'll also keep the project from curling up. So this is like the baseball cap that I've been working on. This is like where I'm at so far. I've been working on this today. I'm trying to get it out of this blue because this there's a very thick blue. I would like for it to change the green already. I got about, seems like about 10 more rows. Now y'all kind of see what I talk about when I talk about the U stitch and acrylic yarn. And I constantly have to shift this thing back. But y'all don't have to do this. So I'm gonna make several suggestions when I do the tutorial that you don't. I just did this out of preference. So you don't have to do this pattern, but it keeps the project from curling up. If you do all U stitch, it's gonna curl up, and if you do E stitch, it's gonna curl up. So I decided to do this pattern because I wasn't crazy about doing the rib stitch for the full rib stitch for the hat, so I chose this. I wanted to kind of keep something uniform throughout the hat without a curling. Um, if you do E stitch, you won't have to do as many stitches, rows that I'm doing. So right now, this is 35 rows. But if you're doing the E stitch, there's a lot less rows that you have to do. You'll probably just have to do like 30, between 30 and 35 rows. Um, I'm gonna do 50, I think, 50 before I move to my next section. So you won't have to do this many if you don't have a. I'm so particular about things that because I want to wear this once I finish, so that's why I'm doing it a certain way. Also, you can do this on a wider gauge loom, so it'll work out faster. So you don't have to do this either on this loom. I'm going to show you the other loom that I suggest. So if you're doing E-stitch and you double up the yarn, you'll have to do even less stitches on this loom. And if you decide to do the U-stitch like I'm doing, you'll need to do this one, but you'll still need to double up your yarn. So it all depends on like how you want it to go. If you do like the E stitch, it's gonna be a little slouchy and it's gonna curl up a little bit. Yeah, I got shoot. I was about to say 15 minutes, but I got a little less than 15 minutes. But yeah. And this is oh yeah. So also use variegated yarn. I swear, like you're gonna get possibly annoyed to um, if you're working smaller stitches. It's more annoying to do it with it's more annoying to do it with solid colors. So I strongly suggest that you get some type of variegated yarn to do the project with. This is the yarn that I'm using. It's called Rainbow Sprinkles. Just in case you're interested. But yeah, I've had this for a while. I've had this since I made a rainbow blanket called Rainbow using rainbow jellies, and it was a chunky cake, Karen cake, and the yarn was much thicker than this, and so yeah, it was called Rainbow Jellies, but this one is called Rainbow Sprinkles. Right, I swear, like that it's the most annoying thing to me. But like when I'm not changing colors and I'm using variegated yarn, like I enjoy like the whole process. It's so crazy. I don't like sitting up looking at the same color the whole time. Like I like this, like it randomly sprinkled in like a couple of colors right here, you know. So I'm not necessarily looking at all red then all blue. It got a couple of dyes in between here. So it was like, oh, that's cute. So I like a couple of little surprises while I'm working. So that's why I've been telling everybody just use variegated yarn, please. Like if you're starting looming, it's already tedious enough. Don't don't change colors your first time. Let the yarn change colors for you. Let the yarn do the work. Right? Me too. Me too. And then I have to put a stitch marker for every 5 rows. I try not to count anything bigger than 5 rows at a time. And I've been using this to keep up with my rows. Like now I'm on 37. But see, if I were using like that polyester yarn, it would have worked up a lot faster because type of yarn it is. Exactly. Yes. Yes. It's a game to see how it turns out. Cause I was like, ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, that's nice. I didn't think it was gonna do that. I'm I'm really excited about this though, y'all. I'm like I'm geeking a little bit. I know that was very tedious, but I'm really geeking about how this is gonna turn out. Cause I'm almost to the second part of the section that I need. I think I only have to do like 10 more rows. Well, no, I said I was going to 50, so yeah, I'm almost to 40, and then I'm gonna switch to doing part of the loom. So I got a section off. Yep, I've started doing where I do thicker stripes. Back in the day, I was doing like 10 rows per stripe, and I was like, no, we're gonna quit doing this. So I'll do like one thing where I do 10 rows, and then the other section I do like 25. Cause I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna change rows every 10 rows. But cause the only reason why I do it that way, cause people tend to complain online. They're like, your stripes are too this and that. So I just be like, okay, to kind of give them what they want and to get what I want, I'm gonna do this one extra thick and then do this one small. But I have it section off right here. This is where like let me get that cap. So this is just in case y'all want to go ahead and get started. Um, I'm giving y'all a little sneak peek because this is what I decided on. But I'm working on this part of the hat, and when I get to this part, I got a section off right here, and then I'm gonna like do like about 5 rows. I'm trying to decide between 5 and 10 rows because this is 10 rows right here, and I think that equals this space. No, it might be a little bit thicker. I'm gonna do maybe, yeah, I'll do 10 rows. So I'm gonna do 10 rows of with this with not working these rows here so that it can have that open space, and then I'm gonna recast it on, and then I'm gonna do like the brim area because technically this is the brim area, but I'm doing like a knit to knit to purl one to do to create this area. I don't want to do a knit to purl two because I'm looking for a specific what did I do with it? I'm looking for like a specific design. I like the way this looks. So I'm gonna do a knit to purl one in the area where the brim part is. And then I'm gonna use the knit one pearl one for this area to keep it from curling up. And then I just have to. I've never, when I get to this spot, I've never done a piece like this before, so that's gonna be very interesting to do. But I think I can do it because I know how to cast stuff off and then cast it back on. So we'll see. I just, this is gonna be like the most interesting part for me is to try to make this shape. Yeah, because I've never made like any other shapes besides squares and making like hats and stuff. So that's gonna be the part that I have to figure out. Y'all only got a few more minutes. I'm gonna finish this row out because I really want to, and then I'm gonna get off live because I don't want to overextend myself. I used to do 3 hours. I'm just like, no, I don't think we can do 3 hours anymore. We gotta do cut it down to two. Oh, so with that being said, since I'm cutting it down to 2 hours, I will be back tomorrow, but it's gonna I'm gonna be crocheting. So if you're interested in crocheting, I'll be back tomorrow because I need to start on this stash jar that I said I was gonna start on a long time ago, and I need to go ahead and get it done. And so I'm hoping to knock out a lot of it tomorrow while on live. So knowing me, if I get really interested in what I'm doing, I might go 3 hours. It depends on if my shoulder is hurting or not. Yesterday I went, no, was, yeah, day before, no, Friday I went 3 hours and my shoulder started hurting at the beginning of the third hour. So I was just like, yeah, let's not do that. And then the other time I went live for about 3 hours, it did the same thing. So I'm just like, okay, that's my body telling me to stop doing that. And I'm thinking about picking up an extra day this week since one of my kids don't play. They don't have a game this week, so I'm basically working off a football schedule now. I'm I'm like, I'm not a soccer parent. I'm a football parent. So I'm on school schedule now, and that's what's really been like messing me up is having to get them to school and from practice and dropping everybody off. And we only have one car. We've had one car for about um 10 months now. No, it might 9 to 10 months. So it's just been really stressful. And I should have my other car back next month. So then I'll be a little bit more at ease. But I'm really excited to share this with y'all. I tend to overthink stuff, and so I went about this head about 3 different times just to figure out what I wanted to do first. Cause I know I'm gonna want to wear it. So this is like one of those projects I never really wear things that I make. So I'm very particular about how I'm gonna do it. Cause once it comes off this loom, I'm gonna um the project that I recycled this yarn from, I wore it. So I'm just like, nobody can have the yarn because I've already, had it on my head about 50 times. So I'm just gonna recycle it into this. Right, right. Thank you. I'm trying to do better at it. Trying to do better at doing self care. But y'all, that is what I have to share with y'all tonight. I can't wait to. I'm hoping that I'm done with this hat by Wednesday, cause of what I decide to do. But as you see, if I straighten it up some, it looks more like this. So I'm trying not to. I'm tempted to tug it. I'm trying not to, cause I know it's gonna look more like this if I do. But I'm just like, don't do that because you don't know how it's gonna turn out, and then you're gonna be really upset, and then you're gonna start over. So I'm just really looking for it to look a certain way. So I'm just gonna leave it alone, and I just gotta coach myself not to do anything more than what I should. But thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight, and I hope to see y'all on tomorrow. And we're gonna be crocheting, cause I got to get this stash jar done. I haven't even touched the thing, and it has to go around this. Awesome. See you tomorrow. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you for coming in. Have a good rest of your night or y'all night. See y'all tomorrow. 'Cause I will keep rambling on.